What's going on, everybody? Today we're here taking a look at the Salsa Anything Cradle and 15-liter dry bag. And here's Jacques. So it's pretty easy to install the Anything Cradle onto your handlebars. I like to put it upside down, then take the included bolts and your number 4 metric hex. Just do one at a time. Do the first one just so that it locks in. Take your other bolt and do the other side. Once you have it on there, loose but locked in, at that point I like to flip it over, and you might want to have it, you can either center it on your stem and your handlebars, or you can have it to one side or the other. And I would say that's going to depend on if you have other things mounted onto your handlebars, such as a GPS mount, or if you have straps for another bag or anything else that's going to be mounted right here to the center. That's it. It takes about 2 minutes to mount. And when you're doing it, mount it at the angle that you like. I like this slightly upward angle because it puts it above my cables, which is really nice, because that's part of the reason that the Anything Cradle is great, is it keeps your bag out of the way of your brake cables, your dropper cables, your shift cables, and everything else, so that you don't kink anything or destroy anything on the trail. The cradle itself is made out of nylon and forged aluminum, so it's a very strong mounting object for your dry bag. One of the things to know about it is that it weighs about 420 grams or 0.93 pounds, and that's according to the Salsa website. So that is one thing that you want to be aware of when you're choosing to use this over a traditional setup, is you're putting on almost 1 pound of weight. And yes, with almost all setups, you're going to need some sort of harness or strapping system or anything like that to mount it to your handlebars. But do you want this nearly pound thing? Is it worth it to keep your bag secure in this position in front of your handlebars, more centered above your wheel and out of the way of your cables? Or can you get away with something a little lighter, a lighter harness, so that you can save weight overall? That's kind of a personal decision. Another thing to be aware of is that this cradle is rated to hold 8 pounds of gear up front. So you want to make sure that everything in this dry bag is less than 8 pounds. So the dry bag itself is pretty large. It holds 15 liters of your gear. It's made of 420 denier nylon and is laminated in TPU, a thermoplastic polyurethane, and also coated in a polyurethane, making it a waterproof dry bag. Both the same thing. One of the things I like about it is that it has these little slots to put your straps through so that it doesn't slide around too far. It keeps it in place. Another great thing is that it's open on both sides. So you can really make this, you can really wind this up to be a lot smaller or a little larger, depending on how much stuff you've got with you. And that way, because it opens and closes on both sides, you can keep it centered no matter how many things you're carrying with you. So here it is. You could roll these more or less to keep your gear in place and in position. Or if you have more, extend it out. If you have less, shrink it in. The other thing with it is, because these straps go through here, it's also recommended that you put this through the top, the bottom, and the top. Doing that will keep it in position. Easily cinched. So now you have a good idea of what the Salsa Anything Cradle and dry bag are all about. Let's go through the pros and cons real quick. Pros, you're keeping everything away from your bars, away from your cables, and you're keeping all of that safe and kink free. Also, you have 15 liters of dry equipment here, and it's very securely fastened. You can also expand this and contract it since it opens and closes on both sides. For the cons, I would say the major concerns I have and had with it when I've used it is you're adding nearly a pound of weight with the cradle itself. Whether that's a win or lose, that's up to you. The other bigger thing I noticed and had issues with is that the two clamps add up to quite a bit of space on your handlebars, and if you're bike packing, there's a good chance that you have other things that you need to mount to your cockpit, possibly a GPS, for instance, a light, or other things of that nature. And when you're using two clamps, you're taking up quite a bit of room over here, so you have to think about that and know how much room you need to mount all of your gear and equipment in the cockpit. I really liked it. I think it worked well. Did not pose any issues for me throughout all the times I've used it so far. It's kept everything dry through multiple days of rainstorms, and it's worked really well. You can cinch these down quite tightly and keep everything in place over very rough mountain biking style terrain, real mountain biking terrain, not just dirt and gravel roads. Keeps everything secure. Also, it has a couple things up front so that you can put a clip-on light, things like that. Salsa did think of a lot of good things and put it all into this bag. I would definitely recommend it. And if you want to check this out, check out your local bike shop or Salsa Cycles dealer. I'm sure they can order one for you. If you liked this, if you thought it was helpful, please subscribe, give me the thumbs up, and wait for the next. Thank you, and cheers.